What would you hear if you sat in silence? My first and only silent retreat was 10.5 years ago, and I remember it like it was yesterday. The brilliance of the Maine waters and the crisp winter air, my disappointment with the spiritual director, who I felt gave me little direction, the table where I played with colored pencils for hours, and the beach where I went by myself to sing to the sea, having realized that even in silence, I couldn't last long without song. Most importantly, I remember the cracking open of who I really was in the silence. After a few days of not trying to impress anyone with my wit or my intellect, I found myself being myself rather than acting like myself. I was a senior in college, wrapping up 4 years in close quarters with others. 4 years of trying to find out who I was, but always seeing myself through the eyes of my companions. There I was in the silence, finally, really me. I also found consolation and peace, the repair of various little hurts and of the larger, overarching pain of being an adolescent and young adult. At the time, I knew that the knowledge of this peace would sustain me, even when peace felt very far away. The memory has indeed comforted me. I still seek silence often, though sometimes I fear it, because I don't want to hear the voice that might emerge. When I did the 19th annotation of St. Ignatius' spiritual exercises, the exercises in everyday life, I was in a terrible situation, and the only way out was a road that I didn't want to take. The very first night of sitting quietly in prayer, the voice told me to go down that path I'd been avoiding. So I listened, even though I'd resisted. Once you hear, you can't say no, which is why I sometimes stay noisy. Not long ago, I spent a few days in the Berkshires, where stars shine brighter in a darker sky, and the silence has music in it. Again, I found myself a person I want to be, a person I like. When I discover the realist me, there is less fear, and God can speak, and I can listen. What would you hear if you sat in silence?